The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL NewsRadio.
So we're still following the latest developments after the United States attacked or bombed nuclear sites in Iran over the weekend. And, one of the things that was really interesting to me when we just visited with our last guest, Professor Giora, who's in Israel right now, is that he said that they're at war, right? I mean, so on the ground there, they feel like they're at war. And I know one of the conversations that's been happening over the weekend is, can the president do this? Is this a declaration of war? And, you're the legal expert. Are we at war in the United States?
Well, certainly Israel and Iran are at war. And whether the United States is or not remains to be seen. And I think there are so many facets to this. So you're right. The Constitution of the United States specifically has what we call the Wars Power Act. It's in Article 1, which is the article that deals with the legislature.
Right.
And it says that the legislature, Congress, has the power to declare war and to make rules concerning captives on land and water. So Congress has the power to declare war. Having said that, Holly, the last time Congress declared war was in 1942.
That would be World War II.
That would be World War II, and I was assuming that would have been shortly after Pearl Harbor was bombed or thereabouts. So the Constitution does provide that Congress has that power and the president doesn't. However, the president is defined under Article 3. The president is the commander-in-chief of the military, and so he runs the military. So on the one hand, Congress can tell him what to do, but he's the one that is in charge of the military. So then, we've sort of evolved over the years because certainly since 1942, we've had Korea, we've had Vietnam, which we would call full-scale wars.
Right.
Other conflicts, I mean, that are numerous all over the place. And what
Desert Storm.
Right, exactly. So Congress did pass what they call the Wars Power Resolution in 1973. That was a long, long time ago. And they said this in that resolution, that the president must consult with Congress before introducing United States armed forces into hostilities or into a situation where imminent involvement and hostilities is clearly indicated by the circumstances. Did the president consult with Congress in this situation? There's no reason to think that he did.
We know that he did not, right? At least not with any Democrats.
So the president is saying that he's using this a provision that says if there's imminent threat, that is, I don't have time to consult Congress. It wouldn't make sense to get 435 representatives and 100 senators together on the same page, debate it, have hearings, that type of thing. I had to act quickly because the Iranian nuclear threat was at such a point, especially with the conflict between Israel and Iran, that if Iran's ever going to drop a bomb, it was about to happen, and he felt like somebody needed to do something to stop that. And so he acted under his executive authority, which he has done a lot in his first
that's true.
150 days with these executive orders, and said, I don't have time to run this by Congress. Here's what I'm going to do. And that's exactly what he did so far.
So we also have, let me ask you this question. We also have other instances where, for example, under President Obama, I know that they were tracking Osama bin Laden and engaged military there to basically take out bin Laden. My understanding is the president also has the ability, not just if it's an emergency, but if it's a limited strike, if you will. Do you think that's accurate?
Oh, I think whether it's accurate or not, it's certainly been done. It's certainly been done numerous times. And we could go back. I mean, even as recently as March, when the U.S. military bombed the Houthi rebels' hideouts in Yemen, and Pete Hegseth said, "Well, I didn't have any choice." And people are like, "That's an act of war. You're supposed to consult. And you certainly shouldn't put on your chat." but
signal chat.
But no, it happened, and I think that so. I'm not trying to defend one side or the other, but there's a lot of talk in Congress right now. Should he have done this? I mean, the Democrats are saying he should be impeached. Of course, that's never going to happen in a situation like this. But to answer your question, if this is in fact a one-off, if it is in fact the U.S. saying, okay, we're in to help you out, Israel, we're going to take care of these nuclear sites. Now you've got to finish the deal, or let's try to work something out. I don't think there's going to be a tremendous backlash.
Yeah.
But if the U.S. continues to be involved, Congress is going to step in and say, okay, we're going to decide what that level of involvement looks like. But again, if this is just something that happened one day and the U.S. has backed out, which it appears so far to be the case.
It's been 36 hours.
Right, but it hasn't been too long, then I suppose there won't be tremendous backlash for it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, again, one of the things that I've seen is that you have some Democrats, you at least have Senator John Fetterman, who says this is a good thing, but you also have a split within the Republicans, right? So people who've been really strong Trump supporters are saying this is not okay. And I'm speaking specifically of Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is like one of the things that President Trump campaigned on when he was candidate Trump was that he would start no new wars, right? So I guess technically if this isn't a war, he didn't start one, right? But he's been involved in, I think it's fair to say, an escalation in the Middle East. And then is there an argument to be made that you don't have to declare a war for it to be a war?
Yes, certainly that's the case. And to follow Marjorie Taylor Greene's line of thought, Trump not only said he wouldn't get involved in new wars, but what he called the endless wars in the Middle East have to stop. And this seems to be the precursor of one of those. I mean, I don't know where this is going to go, and I'm surprised at the number of Republicans who are concerned about what he did. But I can understand if you're in Congress saying, "Wait a minute, you could have at least consulted some of our leaders,"
right?
Especially because the U.S. involvement in this wasn't like the Houthi rebels in Yemen, drop a couple bombs in. So where do you think their developments are? This was a fairly large-scale operation that involved, I don't know how many of those 30-ton bombs, but several of them. I mean,
at least 6 I saw.
That we may be the only country in the world that even has those. And what they're trying to do, Holly, is get to these centrifuges and the operations that the Iranians have something like 300 feet below ground, and these are missiles that can actually penetrate something like that. I mean, I can't even understand the physics of that.
They have to be really precise, right? It's almost like Star Wars. You've got to drop it down the shaft just right. So they create one, and then they have to keep following. And it looks like they have at least 3 points of impact in a couple of spots. So at least 6 of these bunker buster bombs. But yeah, I mean, Israel today is following up at attacking those same sites that the U.S. hit over the weekend.
So then let's have another follow-up. Iran has indicated that it's going to attack U.S. military sites in the region. Some of those are actually closer to Iranian targets than Israel itself. If Iran attacks U.S. military sites, then do we go to Congress and say, okay, guys, let's declare war here? Or
I think
what's
there's
it
an
going
argument
to take?
for that. Yeah, I think there's an argument for that, especially once U.S. lives are lost, right? I think for a lot of people that can be the tipping point. Although, to your point, Vietnam and Korea, we never officially declared war, and we lost a lot of people during those.
You're right.
Conflicts.
Maybe once U.S. troops are hurt, U.S. citizens are part of the conflict, that we take a different look at this.